Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
It is Coffee and Time on ON Radio, Friday morning, December 15th. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan. I will introduce the Coffee and panel right there.
By the way.
That's Dave Richards
I've
right
seen
over
you
there.
around in the halls before.
Hello there, Dave.
Hi there.
Melissa Murray's here. Hi, Melissa.
Good morning.
And we're being joined by Dan Genren, who was just passing by.
Good morning.
Everybody
Morning,
reach
Joe.
out your hands
Dave.
across the table. You're joining us.
All
Good
right.
morning, Melissa.
We'll find out why Dan's here in just a minute. But Dave, it's time for a first message from the
Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce.
COC. So-
You betcha. Well, Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce wants to thank everybody who came out to their special holiday event at the back on December 5th at the Twin River Bally's place. I'm supposed to say Bally's first, right? Bally's Twin River
Casino is
Casino
is
at
exactly
the
what
right
it is.
in Lincoln.
Valley's Twin River.
Yeah. And so they want to thank you for all for coming out. Things are going to slow down a little bit here. They're catching their breath. They're organizing things. They're refocusing because we all know what happens on January 2nd, don't we, Melissa? And and then it'll be time for outreach and all the rest of that sort of stuff that's coming along for a new legislative session. Well, you can depend on the chamber to be there for you to watch what's going on and advise you. Now, they're not there in a capacity of trying to alarm the business community. They just want to know what's going on so they could tell you, so you can be aware. Contact your respective legislative representatives and tell them what your thoughts are on whatever they may be considering, because in honesty, they all really do want to know what you think before they cast their votes.
Is that true, Melissa?
It is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just double checking.
And of course, they may disagree, but that's they do want to know what you think. That's it's key to all of it, because sometimes there is a little disconnect there. But so that's what's going on in the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce. If you're not a member of the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce, you can fix that really fast. 334-1000. Of course, you do have to wait about an hour before they'll answer the phones. They open up at 9 o'clock in the morning down there in Lincoln. So it's 334-1000 when they open at 9. Joe?
All right there, Dave. Thank you very much. Dan Genren is here, and before we
Dan.
wait a minute, I want to say something first before you ask Dan a question. Dan is part of the initiated now. He has gone to his first Trans-Siberian Orchestra concert, and there are no words to describe it, right, Dan?
None.
Unless you go see it and you're wide-eyed and you're like, what did I just envision? What did I just go through?
I have all of their CDs and I've seen DVDs, and I was not expecting what I got.
Happened? Yeah, okay.
It was an amazing live performance.
Mm-hmm. Between all the fire and the explosions.
Yeah, and the vocals and
And
the
the
music
vocals
is
and
just
the
it's
guitars.
Planned
incredible.
fires and planned explosions.
Oh,
under
yeah.
safe
Oh, yes,
conditions.
yes.
Absolutely. The fire marshal.
It was
comes
not
out
the
and
General
say, "Let's
Assembly."
see." Not that kind of fire, right? All right, so I'm glad.
We're the Senate. We don't, we don't.
True.
We start just baby fires on the floor.
Very
Not
good.
yet. That's the
So
House.
Dan and I were at the same show and didn't even know it. We were sitting in different sections. And,
Well,
Well, yeah,
Sure.
because Joe was in the premium seats down on the floor, and I was up
I'm part
in
of
the back.
I'm part of the
Joe's a
beautiful people.
frequent.
Yes.
Joe's a frequent flyer with the TSO.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but that was because I saw pictures on Facebook and that you had posted, and I'm like, hey, I was there.
Yeah.
This is cool. All right.
All right. Well,
So-
Dan,
Yes.
I was talking to Dan a little while ago.
All right.
And I said, hey, Dan, everybody's asking you about what your plans are, because you had a lot of city service in there, and then, of course, now you've been out without being on the council or being mayor or anything else like that. You had one wicked ride in public service. And certainly people are wondering, since now there is a vacancy on the city council, what your plans are. And I bet you people are pestering you about this, no?
Yeah, they certainly are, and I'm glad that they are, because it let me know that there are people that want to see me come back. So I wanted to put that to rest right now, if we can. And
You don't need the phone calls on Christmas Day.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And the declaration will begin on December 29th, but
Right.
I will be declaring my run for the emergency or the special election.
Special election, right. It'll
to
be in March,
replace,
won't it? Yeah.
It'll be March. The
It's a long time to wait. no?
primary will be February 5th, and then the general will be on March 5th.
Right.
And
Right after we
hopefully-
March 4th.
Yes, that's true. Very.
That'll be
that's
part of your
good.
campaign. When you give that last campaign speech, now March 4th and vote tomorrow.
I got to be careful though, because I'll confuse people, and they'll be out on the 4th to vote. But
Try to vote. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I will. I will be tossing my hat in the ring, and hopefully, I can get support.
Well, the
to
interesting thing
continue
is
what
that
I started.
people could vote on March the 4th.
Oh yes,
Because they
Yeah,
have early
right.
voting now. That's a permanent part of our law.
yes.
So they could be voting early and often.
Yes.
Or at least early.
Well, yeah, I was going to say. Hopefully, we resolve the orphan part, but
yeah, I know.
yeah, it's been interesting. I think that it's important to think of what's coming. It's going to be a short term from March to November.
Yeah.
And we need to
It'll
get
be really important
things back
because
in
when the
place.
November election comes along, and that's going to be a big election. It's a general election. We're
Yes.
electing everybody down the dog catcher on in November of 24. So it's important to be there in that race. So if you're an incumbent, that's a good thing. Whenever you're running again, wouldn't you agree, Melissa?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It gives you a chance to show your stuff, not
Right.
just make promises.
Right.
And all that. Now you've already shown your stuff again, but it certainly would be a good thing for you to be on the council if you were running for re-election, right?
And that is a good point. I think the bigger point, and what I want people to really take away, is that that's an important thing for me. If I plan to get reelected in November, it's
Right.
good to be there. But the more important thing I think that people need to look at is you've seen things starting to get fixed in City Hall and in city government. And I'm not going to get into the nitpicking, but we know the fire contract just got settled. And that should have been settled a year and a half ago. But there
know.
was obstacles, and those obstacles are gone. But what's happening now is we're identifying some problems that are there. And I think what I will be more important for, and forget my re-election in November, it's what I can do from March to November. It's
Well,
a
you
short
certainly have
term.
institutional knowledge.
Yeah, and we're going to have a budget coming out
Yeah.
right in the second week of May that will be, it's going to be a very difficult budget. I assure you, things are not what we thought they were.
That brings me to another question, Dan. And forgive me for being quite so blunt about this, but there's never been any mistake that you and I have been pals. Forget about politics. We've been pals for a while.
Yes.
Yeah, for my friends, I always want for them what they want for themselves. And I look at it and I say to myself, oh my goodness. I don't know if others have seen what I've seen or heard what I've heard, but from my perspective at this job, I think the next several years are going to be the most challenging financially for every municipality, for the state, for the federal government, because they've printed so much money now that they gotta account for it all, and deficits will be ballooning. How do you do now? Why would an able-bodied, intelligent guy like yourself want to get yourself into that muck and mire?
Well, I mean, I know it sounds cliche, but it's my city, and if I have something to offer to get us through these tough times, and I'm only going to be a small part of what I hope is a resolution to some of these or a solution to some of these problems, I can't sit back and not do something. And if people have watched me, I'm not into this just for the politics of it. The former mayor always used to criticize me, saying that I always wanted to be mayor. Well, I was 13 years as a councilman, and I never ran for mayor. When I was required to, I stepped up and became mayor without taking a salary. I just did it because it was the right thing to do. But it wasn't like there's a big political motivation. I don't want to run for General Assembly. I don't want to be on the Senate.
Right.
I just
You're
feel
not a
like
career
I can,
politician.
No,
You're just somebody who wants to do a job. And
I
help
have
out.
something to offer. I'm putting myself out there. Hopefully people will see a value in that. And can let me get the city through at least the next few months.
Dan, as far as you know, are you the first person to declare that is running for the city council?
I've heard rumors of a few other people, but I don't know.
Well, there are
anything
rumors
official.
about you, Dan.
Well, this isn't a rumor anymore. So,
All right, so-
stop
Put that
the
one to bed.
rumors.
So
Yeah,
what
yeah.
you're really asking, Joe, this is the first public announcement.
Yes. Yeah.
I think so, because I haven't heard anyone else publicly say.
Yeah.
Or if someone has said it, they haven't communicated it to me. I'm just saying that it's a difference between talking about it and publicly committing to it.
Yes, and Melissa and I have had discussions about it. She's tried to talk me out of it for my own sanity, but thank you. But no, seriously,
Jeez,
it's
I should have. Nah, I don't.
It's gonna
really.
be it's gonna be tough for all of us the next couple of years. But I think, like when you're one person of a body, whether it's 7 or 38, I mean, obviously when you're one of 7, your impact is greater. But when you have to make those tough decisions, do you really, you want to have a seat at that table? Certainly, I want Woonsocket to have a seat at that table, because you don't want folks to cut crucial programs and crucial things that are valuable.
Well, you know
to-
that's going to happen.
Yeah, but I mean, you still have to fight, for what's right, and I think that's important, even if it costs you the election. That's kind of how I feel.
Well, hey, that's a nice, refreshing point of view. Not everybody's like that. We're also going into this. I know the federal government would frown if I use the R word, recession. But we've known since 2020 that what they were doing, their policies were going to cause one. And they think they got the Federal Reserve to stave it off, but no, they just postponed it so that it's going to be worse when it actually hits, in my opinion. So what you're going to be facing are going to be real bad time. And in a social cycle where divisiveness seems to be a sport,
Yeah, I agree
what
with
did I
that.
read this
I agree
morning
with that.
about Republican Chippendale from Foster? Like he even knows where Route 195 is.
He's not happy with the governor.
No, he just
He's just
blatantly lambasting the governor. Because he's a Democrat and he's one of the squarely on his shoulders. He's the one that broke those bolts in the support, and
Personally, he went out there with bolt
I'm
cutters?
telling you,
That's what I was picturing in my mind too,
if
Joe.
you took a look at what Representative Chippendale said,
Yeah.
you would be ill. Because if you knew anything about what was going on, and of course the leaders of the House and the Senate are jumping in. Everybody wants a head because people expect them to demand a head, and so elected officials sometimes feel influenced toward doing things that maybe they don't think are quite as important as the people who are screaming and yelling think. Would I be off base in saying that?
I think that elected officials can be pressured that way, and there are a lot of people who are really, really mad about this. But I think
Well, so what? I mean,
Well,
stuff
I think-
happens. Do you know?
Does.
Do you know? Just to have this is Dan's spotlight time. Dan, do you know? Let me get him into the conversation. Do you know they have been trying to rebuild the George Washington Bridge since 2019?
I know.
Earnestly, full blast, trying to get it done.
They had
Why?
bids and-
Because it was declared in a state of disrepair and needed it. At that time, it was only 49 years old. Now it's 55 years old. Last July, it was in a state of disrepair, but it was sound. Something went over that bridge, according to Director Alviti, on the westbound side between July and when they just took the latest photographs here in December. And he went pale in the face, called the governor because he has, this will probably mean jobs. This will probably mean chaos. I know this is going to be really bad, but I have no choice but to call the governor and say the most drastic action is necessary. Because if something that heavy goes over this bridge again, it's going in the drink.
Yeah.
And so
and-
he did his job, and people saying, "Well, you want to? You want to resign?"
And that's the
For
thing.
doing his job.
But if he didn't do that, he would have had not only the criticism, but the responsibility for people who died.
Exactly.
And is that what we want? You
Right.
know, it's
It's
well,
150 feet to the water down below.
right, but not.
Nothing would survive that.
We have always heard the criticism of everything that you've done or not done, and it doesn't make it any different for where we are today. And if he had announced that we were closing the bridge to rebuild it, there would have been criticism of that.
Right. Where are we gonna go? Where?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. This isn't the time. Let's wait till January. I don't think so.
All right, we got to take a break on the Coffee Ant program right now. So, Dave, can you get a brief little message now for the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce, please?
Well, my brief one is 334-1000. How brief would you like it, Joe?
That's brief enough.
That's the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce call after 9.
Thanks, Dave.
This is Councilwoman Gonzalez wishing you a very Merry Christmas and thanking you for your continued support of the Milk Fund. I also want to take this opportunity to invite you to join me for our Vida Church Christmas Day celebration, Come and Behold Him. Sunday, December 25th at 10 a.m., 120 Prospect Street. We'll enjoy the sounds of Christmas, coffee and hot cocoa, and gifts for children under 12. Happy holidays, and don't forget to support the Milk Fund.
This is Robert Stewart from Woonsocket Teachers Guild, reminding you that holidays are a season of giving, your time, your money, and an opportunity to help others. We enjoyed the Christmas Day concert and think you will as well. May the holiday season bring you joy to you and your family. We hope that you will find a way to make the life of a child or a family member or a stranger more joyous this season. Woonsocket educators are proud of the work we do to make a difference in the lives of the youth of Woonsocket.
The Coffee Ant panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
ON AM and FM.
It's Coffee Ant on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Dave Richards, Melissa Murray, and Dan Jenner.
And for those of you who are joining
hold
us
on, Dave,
late.
Hold on, Dave.
Yes?
You want to be in charge?
I'm
Dan
sorry.
Jenner did announce that he's a candidate for Woonsocket City Council. Congratulations on your decision to
Thank
run.
you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, when Chris Beauchamp became mayor, and you know the seat opened up on the city council.
Yeah, he's familiar with that
Right.
process.
When did, that's right. When did you say to yourself, maybe I should run for city council? Was it an immediate thing, or did you give it at least a week before you decided to?
Oh
think
no,
about
it wasn't. It was not immediate. I had discussions with my family. I thought about it was probably a week or so after when you really started to see how things were gonna sift out.
Okay.
And I had a discussion with my family, and they were very supportive. I think they would like me to see me back out of the house.
Is that so? That's cute. That's an interesting look.
But yeah, we'll fund it. Go,
Yeah,
go.
go, yeah.
So it was not a quick decision,
Okay,
but
good.
it is one that I feel very comfortable with.
Well, there must have been a little bit more peace around the house without all the phone calls and.
You'd be surprised that didn't end.
No, really?
No. The and what makes
People
it tough
calling you
now,
asking if you're running?
Well, no, but people calling me and saying, this is what the city council is doing. What do you think?
Oh.
Well, I could help you if I was sitting there, but I don't
Yeah,
really have
right.
much to offer. And this was not a criticism. Please make sure that this does not get misconstrued. When I left office,
Yeah.
I told the councilors that were there and elected, and I even included then mayor, that if I could be of any help,
Yeah.
I wanted to be
I remember
available.
you doing that.
And some of them took me up on it. And I did get many calls from some of those counselors. And I'm not saying that I helped them, but they would just say, what do you think?
What's your
And-
opinion?
Get a little
and
perspective.
My opinion, I'm not saying I'm right all the time, but I was pleased that they heard my message. And I've said the same thing to now Mayor Beauchamp. I will do whatever, elected or not, I would do whatever I could to help Mayor Beauchamp, because I've served with him. I served on the Water Advisory Committee, and I think he's in a bad situation, having to throw your life up in the air and take over as mayor when he wasn't planning that.
No.
And if I can be of help to him or the counselors, I will do it. So no, the phone calls, they didn't really stop. The emails continued, the texting.
Well, that's good.
It is. It was good for me, but it was a little bit more frustrating because sometimes have an opinion and you don't have a voice.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Did when did the calls come in or emails that saying, Dan, we want you to run for city council. We hope you're considering it.
Well, the funny thing is right away they started with, you got to run for mayor. So the first thing I tried to do
Yeah, I'm
is,
sorry, that's
is
not
explain
open.
them to, that's not an option. And nor is it,
And
was
you
it
might
a desire.
you might
know.
like the job Chris is doing, so why would you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Give him a chance.
Yeah.
But it was day one. I would say it was day -1
Yeah.
when people started hearing rumors that Lisa was going to resign. I think that it started then with people saying, you need to run. It's funny, but it's running into people, at work, at the store, in person, who I don't really know that intimately, and they'll pull me aside and say, you got to do this. We need you. We want you. We support you. You've got mine and my 2 kids and my husband and
My
my
dog
whatever.
will vote for you. Yes,
Yeah,
I get
and
it.
and some of the people I don't really know, and they're doing it. So that was
Well, you made a good impression on him.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Do you have a working relationship with all the members of the council right now? Do you know all of them?
I know all of. Well, I should say I don't know Councilman McGee that well. I never served with him. I did reach out to him right after the election and offer my assistance in any way. I haven't had many discussions with him, but the rest of them I served on the council with Garrett. I served. I'm sorry, Councilman Manseri, Councilman Ward, Councilman Susi, Councilwoman Gonzalez. I served with them, so I know them fairly well.
Okay.
I've talked quite a bit with Councilman Thompson. I think he's turned around and done a great job being up there. So I feel like I could
You think you
work
fit in
with
with
them.
this group, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if I'm lucky enough to be elected, and nothing's a foregone conclusion.
Right.
I am smart enough after coming off a loss. I know I won't know that until March 5th or 6th.
How many signatures do you need to get?
100.
100. So okay. So when do you start gathering those?
So the papers will be ready, I believe, on the 29th, and then we have 8 days or 10 days to collect the signatures.
At the coldest time of the year.
Yes, and when people want to see,
Over the holiday.
yes,
That's right. Let's
because
talk
they
politics.
love having somebody like me knock at their door.
New Year's Eve.
Yeah, right.
Happy
Not
New Year,
having a
everyone.
party. Yeah.
Be sure to bring the cheese and crackers.
Yes.
Is that how you do it? You go door to door, or will you stand at a central place?
I'm
Have people
not.
come to you.
It's all gonna depend on weather. It's gonna depend on where we are at that point. It may be going to a central location a few times to get different people, because honestly, I respect. Like, I've never gone campaigning in a regular cycle on a Patriots football Sunday, and I know that.
Don't make
because-
people make a choice.
Right. I don't want people to look and say, oh, it's bad enough they don't want to see a politician at their door. They
Right.
don't want to see you during a Patriots game.
Oh, yeah.
So
Maybe
during,
this year they do though.
well, maybe you're right. Oh, good, a relief.
Good
Yeah.
point. Good
diversion.
point.
Yes, but during the holidays, I don't know that people are going to be welcoming, but I'll do what I need to do.
Well, you also don't know if anyone else has the same idea as you do and just haven't announced them publicly yet.
Yes.
Because we hear rumors, you hear rumors, everybody hears rumors.
Right. All right. So now you need 100, but will you go and gather like 200 just to make sure? you
Well,
have enough?
definitely. We usually will get about 150
Yeah.
to make sure, because there are always disqualified names or people who signed it incorrectly, whatever. They're not registered to vote. So all of those things, we always take a safe number and make sure that we beat that in case any are challenged. We've heard of that happening.
Yeah.
Of course it
You
has.
you don't want to be disqualified from running because you
You were
accidentally
short 5 votes or something,
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
Or signatures rather. Yeah.
right.
All right. If you're elected to the council in March, what's one of the big things you want the city council to tackle? What's one of the projects in the city going on that you're interested in?
Well, it's going to depend, Joe, and I'll tell you one of the biggest thing I had, and I was very vocal at council meetings. I needed to have the fire contract resolved. It was resolved on Monday night.
Yep.
So thankfully that's going. 670 is going through contract negotiations. It should be resolved. That needs to get
That's
done.
the office workers. at
Yes.
City
Oh,
Hall.
well, the highway
AFSCME.
department. Yep. That has to get done. The situation with the homeless people in the city. Now, unfortunately, it's going to be March, and it's going to be at the tail end. But we were criticized, and I'll take the criticism. But we did what we had to do when
We as the council?
the council
Okay.
back when I was on, and we got those hotel rooms. And you can speak to people who were there, who had the benefit of that. It was immediate. It was effective. And speaking with Linda Plays, she'll tell you that some of the people she was able to help because of those rooms got into permanent housing, got employment,
Right.
are off the street.
Right.
I don't know what's going to happen from now to March. I won't wait until I'm in office to see that something happens to get them into a better place. But we cannot allow this to go on. Here it is. It's December 15th.
Yeah.
And there's nothing. We hear things are coming, but all this time, I know I've had some cold days when I've gone out in the morning, and I'm walking out of my house, and it's cold. Imagine having spent the entire night in that weather. It's wrong, and so I hope that it doesn't wait for me to get there, and I will actively speak on that again, but hopefully that'll be something resolved. But Joe, to answer your biggest question, I think the thing that I'm going to be most involved in will be the budget formulation and the budget presentation. So we, the council, gets the budget on May 12th, but that means it's already had time being constructed and put
course.
together. I would like to, and a few times I was able to be part to that, and it makes it a smoother process, because if you've got 8 people throwing things in, the budget that is presented is more cohesive and functional. Instead of having one person put it together in an idealistic situation in their mind and then present it to 7 who have to pick it apart, and it takes time for nothing. So the thing that will be most time consuming will be the budget, and it's not going to just be raising taxes. You know, as Dave was pointing out, the economy will not support just compounding tax increases. It's going to take some tough decisions. It's going to take creative thinking, and I want to do that. I've done it for 13 budgets. I want to do it for another one.
All right. So Dan Jedrin has officially announced he is running for Woonsocket City Council. Best of luck.
Thank you.
In your campaign. So.
Thank you, and I appreciate the time spent with the 3 of you and your listeners. I thank you for the opportunity to speak. And with that, I will leave your studio because I think you need my seat.
We need a couple of seats. We do. We have a couple more guests coming up after the break. Dan,
All
thanks
right.
for joining
Thank you.
us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. It's time for the forecast here on ON Radio on the Coffee and program, which is being sponsored by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation.
Sunny skies today with a high near 50 degrees and a breeze from the west. Tonight, mostly clear, overnight low of 35. Saturday's weather, mostly sunny and a high of 47. Sunday, 50% chance of rain all day, cloudy skies, 53. Sunday night, 100% chance of rain, lots of it too. Rain, maybe even thunderstorms, and an overnight low of 48. Breezy from the southeast, up to 25 miles per hour. Monday, rain continues, high of 58, 100% chance, and breezy with gusts up to 40 miles per hour. Monday night, rain starts to taper off, but still a 60% chance, overnight low of 36. Tuesday, partly sunny skies and a high near 42. Wednesday, mostly sunny and 39. And on Thursday, mostly sunny, high near 42.
Currently outside the Navigate Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street with sunny skies, we have 38 degrees. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
You know, when you're paying the right price for protection, you just know it. It's that warm, fuzzy, totally secure feeling, knowing that you're not only getting great coverage, but you're also not paying too much for it. And when it comes to your insurance, there's no one better at getting the right price for your protection than Allstate agents Kara and Celeste Benjamin, because they know when it comes to your bank account, every penny counts towards something bigger, something better. Like a nicer car, that home update you've been dreaming of, or a phone that's fresh out of the box. Those little or big things that we work so hard for. And Kara and Celeste Benjamin want to help you work a little less by getting you the coverage you need and the savings you deserve when you switch to Allstate. Contact Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, 2 locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. 765-5000 for a free quote today. Allstate, you're in good hands. And you're in good hands with Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. Savings vary based on the average annual savings reported by new auto customers surveyed in 2019 who switched to Allstate.
Christmas in New York. The Northern Rhode Island Council of the Arts is hosting a bus trip to New York City on Saturday, December 16th. We'll get you to New York, and the day is yours. See the sights, visit a museum, see a show, whatever you like. The day is yours. Tickets are $90, and the bus will leave from the St. Anne Arts and Cultural Center parking lot at 5:30 a.m. For more information or to reserve your seats, email nrica@nrica.org or call Sharon at 401-767-7432.
Casey Kasem has unlocked the American Top 40 vaults and is replaying original shows from the 70s. This week, Casey takes you back to December 12, 1970. That's when Tony Orlando and Dawn knocked 3 times. James Taylor saw Fire and Rain. The Guess Who told us to share the land. And Chicago asked, does anybody really know what time it is? You'll hear those songs and all the top 40 hits from December 12, 1970, right here on American Top 40, the 70s.
This portion of the Coffee and program is sponsored by the Valley Breeze newspaper.
The Valley Breeze has been a local news leader since its founding in 1996, and more people are reading our stories today than ever before. We believe our mission of making our community stronger by telling their stories is not just a tagline, but a way of life for our staff as they connect with you, our loyal readers and advertisers. Our team thanks you for always reading, always reaching out, and always helping toward our shared vision. Check out any of our 5 editions or visit valleybreeze.com for more.
It's Coffee In on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. This is Joe Callahan. We're here with Melissa Murray, and we're being joined at the Coffee In table by Rich Lane from Post 85,
Hey.
American Legion Post 85. How are you?
I'm doing well.
And Rich brought a guest with him. This is Jen Stevens. She is the Vice President of the American Legion Auxiliary Unit 85. Did I get that right?
You got it right.
Excellent, excellent. So, Rich, do we want to start with you? Or do we want to start with Jen? Where do we want to start here?
Well, I don't know. We can. Well, I'll tell you what. I've got some real brief news.
Okay,
How
give
about
us
that?
some brief news there.
Well, I went to. Of course, everybody knows there's a United Veterans Council here in Woonsocket. I went to their meeting last night. And I think I had mentioned it last week that we had a private donation that was given to the American Legion Post 85, and we were going to be the facilitators of that private donation to give it to the women's homeless shelter that they opened up here in Woonsocket. And I'm happy to report that we got a list from them, and they actually started moving some of the lady veterans in there the other day. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to meet with the commander right after the radio show here, and we're going to get that list together and hopefully bring some Christmas cheer down there to the women's veterans. So that's pretty much what I got.
That's great. All right. Thank you very much. Now, Jen was down at the Post 85 when we were celebrity bartenders down there, Melissa. And did I pour all the drinks correctly for you?
Perfect.
Ah, there we go.
Absolutely perfect. I got a ride home. You did a good job.
Perfect. Well, it was easy to get the white Zinfandel right out of the bottle and just pour it in a glass.
You had you were pouring wine into glasses and beer, and I had the mixed drink, which wasn't too bad.
I had the pleasure, though, of meeting with the auxiliary. I had the pleasure of course, being down at the post all the time, with all the different entities down there. And like I say on the show all the time, we have, not only the American Legion post itself with the veterans, but we have the Friends of Fairmount, which is a civilian organization. We have the Sons of the American Legion, and we have, like you had introduced Jen as the vice president of Unit 85, the auxiliary, and you hear me brag the auxiliary all the time when I come down here. So that's why I wanted to bring Jen in, because she can really articulate exactly, and they've done, like I say, they have done so many things. I don't think people realize just how great the organization is.
All right, so Jen, in a nutshell, what does the auxiliary do?
What do we do? Well, we do a lot of things. So what I did is we brought down, I got a copy here. Oh, sorry, got a copy here of last year's year-end report. So we have a poppy fund, so we do that. We raised about $613, and that goes to veterans. We do education. We did a drive last year. We were able to give 4 schools in Woonsocket backpacks, notebooks, pencils, crayons, everything, because
Great.
a lot of the children, just the parents don't have the money, and it falls on to the teachers to have to supplement. Our big event in April is Purple Up for military kids.
Yep.
Great event. We raise a lot of money for children.
Well, tell them how much you raised, because it's huge.
It's huge.
It really is. Tell them how much.
I will tell you.
She's trying to fight it, Rich.
I'm just looking, Rich. Calm down. Goodness gracious, Nikki.
I know.
I know.
You want me to tell you?
You tell me.
Yeah, they raised right around $12,000.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah,
Purple Up.
yeah, roughly 12. Yeah, 12,000.
About 12,000 is what we did last year. Last year was that was a big event. That was real good. Able to send children some years to camp. Able to do what else? We did a Halloween night for families. Giveaways. We did a giant Legoland, like toy, where the kids can walk through it. They loved that. Just lots of things. Last Christmas, we handed out to 13 veterans who are in nursing homes gift baskets. We had one of our members had gotten a list from where her, I think, father was, so we're able to do that. And right now, actually, what we're getting ready for now is the Coleman School in Woonsocket.
What are you doing with them?
I brought supplies down to them in September, and the new principal, told me a lot of these children go home for Christmas break and they come back and they get no gifts. And they asked if there's any way we could help out with the first and maybe kindergarten, first grade, the little ones. And we just said, oh, let me see what we can do. How many kids are in the school? She's a little over 300. And I brought it up to Nikki and everyone at the meeting. And
Who's Nikki?
Nikki LaForte, the
okay.
president. And we said, let's think about it. And then we got a phone call. Rob LaForte, the commander, got a phone call from somebody who wanted to donate a warehouse full of toys.
Wow.
And we'd have to
Fantastic.
go get them.
Yeah.
He had offered them last year, but it was after the holidays and no place to store them. So the gentleman, unfortunately, had passed away, and his wife reached out.
Wow.
So we got those. So right now, we're going to finish up Sunday at my house because all the toys are at my house. We packed about 90 bags Monday night. And
When
then
do you distribute them?
we're going to distribute them to December 20th at the school, noontime at the Coleman School.
Okay, this coming Wednesday.
Yeah, yep.
The kids will be very excited.
They're going to be excited because we managed to get all 312 children a gift.
Wow.
We had we did our blanket drive.
Yeah.
We were looking for 60 blankets. We ended up with like 142, I think, plus more keep coming in.
Yeah.
So for the bigger kids, we were able to give them a blanket. We got quite a bit of money from Friends of Fairmount, private donations. And so that's giving us the money to what we don't have, we're able to go out and purchase. We bought crayons, coloring books, candy, craft sets. And, this is going to be nice. It's a huge undertaking.
Big
And we can't
undertaking,
help them
yeah.
every year like that. 'cause
Right.
The
This is-
toys.
this is the lucky year.
This was the lucky year that we got the toys.
All right.
So we're excited, make their Christmas.
Sure. Now, how many people are part of the auxiliary?
We got.
As she looks through her notes again.
I know. I told you. The only reason I did not read it beforehand because I was nervous. I was just like, I'll just didn't.
Didn't Rich tell you how easy this is?
He did.
Well, it's quite more than 10, I guess. Huh?
More than 10. Yeah. Yeah. Well, one thing I will say in between is that one thing they do have down there, which I'm extremely proud of, we have 3 junior members of the auxiliary down there, and 2 of them are my granddaughters, and one of them is an auxiliary member. Bailey is that little girl's name.
Yeah.
And the juniors are so very much accepted that. Because I sit on the other side during the meetings, and I hear my granddaughters participate, and the ladies there, that they're adults, but they give these young kids the opportunity to speak. So that is going to move forward, where the younger kids actually start to appreciate what they do. But they'll let Jen. Now that Jen's got her numbers.
Yeah. No. So right now it looks like we have like 36 members. We got a few that have yet to pay their dues, but I'm sure it's just a matter of. So they have.
They're going to send me after them. That's what's going to happen.
My muscle here is going to go.
Let's go get the dues.
He's going to go get it all.
That's a huge organization. 36 members. I mean, and it just. We're always hearing good things about you, and all like the great things you do, and I think it's great that so many people want to be a part of that.
Yes, yeah.
Are you always looking for more people to join them?
Always.
Okay.
Always.
What's the criteria to join?
Well, to join the auxiliary, you need to have a spouse or a parent who served.
Mm-hmm.
What else could it be? Grandparent?
Grandparents, and
As long
like
as you have
basically a
somebody-
family member
a
that
family
served.
member who served, and you can join.
Mm-hmm.
And
You
just
mentioned
fill
about
out a
dues.
form.
How much does it cost?
$30 a year.
That's just way too much.
That's way too
Jen.
much. Oh my God!
And if you,
That
I
breaks the
almost didn't
bank.
pay it.
and,
Yeah.
and if you're real nice to them, it might come with a free drink. I don't know.
So we
Well,
also
twist my arm. Man.
we make soup on Thursdays. So from November to probably end of February, March. I think we do it right up until we start Purple Up. So every Thursday, one of the members, we make a batch of soup in a crock pot.
Where's it go?
It goes to the bar.
Okay.
And we make that's how we make a little extra money for like.
Oh, you sell it at the bar. Okay.
Doing what like those funds we can use it for anything. A lot of these funds are just earmarked for specific things. So having that little extra money in our account helps us with like helping this Coleman school out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we do that, and I try to make something on Tuesdays if I can. I'll make a pot of something at home, whatever. I'll look through my fridge and I'll make a pot and just say, okay, I'll bring it down, and Amy will sell it.
Do people come to the post saying, "What's the soup of today?" Or
They look on Thursdays. They all
what's
winter
here?
long. They do.
Yeah?
Yeah. We can. It gets posted every Thursday morning. Come on down. $2 for a cup of soup, a big cup of soup. You know, it's.
Well, that's kind of
And we're all
expensive
pretty
too,
good.
yeah.
We're all pretty good cooks. Yeah.
Yeah, I can attest to that. Just look at me.
No one sends it back.
No one sends it back. And
Say, what is this?
sometimes they'll take one home also. So,
Do they? All right. Well, now it's the American Legion Auxiliary, but it's not the. They used to be the Ladies Auxiliary. Is it still that, or would
it's just it's
what?
all ladies, but I
Yeah.
don't see this. I don't think there's any reason why we couldn't have.
a guy on it?
Yeah.
Actually, they got. I think the national charter just pretty much changed that, right, Jen? A couple of years ago, where they allowed that there are. I don't know. I don't know if it's all the woke stuff going on in life today or whatever. But I think
We
that
have to
was
be
kind
inclusive,
of.
Rich,
You
you
got to
know?
be all inclusive. So, but I mean, tongue in cheek. Sorry, but I see all ladies in there. But if you feel you want to join the auxiliary, I get. But we do have the alternative for the males. We have the Sons of the American Legion. So,
All right.
and it's
Oh,
basically
okay.
the same criteria to join the Sons.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to have somebody in your family that was part of the military. So I mean, we still have the different entities, but if you wanted to join the auxiliary, I guess you could. Yeah,
Sure.
as a male, if you wanted to, absolutely.
Maybe
you
they
know.
like to cook soup. You know?
Maybe they like to cook soup. You
Well,
never know.
you're
yeah.
so active that if you brought, if someone said, oh, you know what, I love the kinds of activities that you're doing. I want to help kids. I want to help, be a part of like bringing gifts to veterans. But I'm a male, and maybe my father was in the military, but I want to join the auxiliary. Then they could do that. But
Yes.
but you all do again. Like you do so much. We had you for Purple Up to the State House. Like, I think we should do that again.
Well, we'll
Give you
definitely
some
do that.
That
good,
was, that was,
like, because
yeah,
I
that
think
was
that
really nice.
Because I will say that y'all don't blow your own horn like at all, not nearly enough. And I think that it's good for folks to know what you're doing and all the good things that you're doing for the community.
Yeah,
And we have such a great group. And I always say, my contact, my Nikki, she works so hard. And I always tell her, I said, oh my God, I pale with what you do, you know. And she's like, no, stop it. You know, it takes a village. You know that. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't do this if I didn't have all you
A
girls.
group. Yeah.
You know, and so I always just, I'm like, okay, I believe you, but
I mean, and one thing a lot of people see, and I know this only because of the auxiliary and all the groups down there. They follow the American Legion mission, and the mission of the American Legion is not only to help veterans, which the auxiliary does, but it's and if you look at the American Legion mission, it's to help the community too. So and you know, a lot of times you'll think, oh, what are you doing for veterans? Well, anything that this auxiliary does sheds light on the post. So it supports a veteran organization. Absolutely it does. And you know, and if you want to talk about what you do for veterans, I mean, Jen mentioned it earlier, their Purple Up campaign. I mean, they were in existence, were you with them when they first started in 2020? I think they started.
2020, that was COVID. I hadn't joined that.
Okay.
I would come down there, I volunteered, and then finally I just said, I got to put my paperwork in.
But in 2020, they started early in 2020. They did Purple Up their first year, and they actually got a national award. They weren't even like in existence for 8 months, and they end up getting a national award for what they did for kids. You know, and Jen, tell them about because I got to brag myself a little bit here, okay? Tell them a little bit about. I mean, we're going to do Purple Up again this year. And
we got a huge.
Tell them about that.
I'm going to tell you about that.
Tell them about that.
So this man I know, he might be sitting to my left, Rich, but he is able to the last couple of years through the Cam Neely Foundation.
This is the Boston Bruins Foundation.
Boston Bruins Foundation, autographed jerseys. So
Bruins,
last year
right.
we had an autographed jersey by all the players, and look, they almost made it, and everybody wanted to win that shirt.
Sure.
And he brought us one the other night. So this is the 100th year for the
100th
Bruins.
year, yep.
So this one's all sparkly with gold sparkles on it, you know, all signed by the team. So we've got that out now, and we've decided we're going to treat it like only with people we trust and places we know we can trust. You know, the traveling shirt is going to go around to a few local establishments behind the bar.
Got to bring the muscle with the traveling shirt.
That's fine, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be more than happy to go out there and try to sell tickets for it. But, you know, they raffled that off last year as an individual piece. And I think you made right around $3,000 just on last year's jersey.
Yeah.
So this being the centennial year of the Boston Bruins with the signatures on the Spoke B, and it's an Adidas shirt, by the way. It's one of the real ones. So that should go for big money. So when you see that shirt go traveling around, hopefully the Woonsocket area and other establishments where, you know, like Jen and Nikki are going to get together with one another and figure out how they want to get that shirt traveling around. And, you know, hopefully we get a lot of money and just let people know it's all stays in the state of Rhode Island for Purple Up for the military kids and that whole thing. It's a nationwide thing. It was, I think, back in 1986 or something. It was deemed Purple Up in the entire country. But, you know, we do our Purple Up thing. The auxiliary does, and in April, and it's just great. It's just great when you can raise $12,000, $13,000, $14,000, and it all goes to military kids and stays where it belongs. That's a fantastic thing, and I can't thank the auxiliary enough. You know, on behalf of the commander, I can't thank the auxiliary enough for what they do. You guys, Jen, bring light into. You guys do more than we do.
And it takes a whole village.
It takes a village, like Nikki says, right? Nikki, if you're out there,
working
yes.
together.
And I think Nikki's listened this morning.
I hope she's listening.
Because
this is her day.
Absolutely. So Nikki LaForte, you are fantastic.
Yes,
your
we
ladies
love
do
you.
a great job.
All right, we're going to take a break on the Coffee Am program and more coming up. This portion of Coffee Am has been sponsored by the Valley Breeze newspapers.
The Valley Breeze has been a local news leader since its founding in 1996, and more people are reading our stories today than ever before. We believe our mission of making our community stronger by telling their stories is not just a tagline, but a way of life for our staff as they connect with you, our loyal readers and advertisers. Our team thanks you for always reading, always reaching out, and always helping toward our shared vision. Check out any of our 5 editions or visit valleybreeze.com for more.
The purchase of a new vacuum cleaner or sewing machine is an important decision. Don't leave this decision up to the big box stores. Go see the experts at Marion Sew and Vac in Bellingham. They carry the top-of-the-line Miele and Sebo bagless vacuum cleaners. Both use hospital-grade filtration to remove 99.9% of dirt and dust. Marion Sew and Vac carries the Juki sewing machine. That's perfect for not only sewing, but also embroidery. Also, Marion Sew and Vac can repair your old vacuum cleaner and sewing machine. Stop in today to Marion Sew and Vac, 234 Pulaski Boulevard, Bellingham. They're open Tuesday through Saturday at 10 a.m.
This Christmas season is a time of peace and hope, when we pause in our daily activities to be with family and friends and to remember what's really important. It's time to recall pleasant memories and family gatherings. This is Dan Gendron. On behalf of my wife, Anne Marie, and my daughter, Victoria, I'd like to wish you good friendship and good health during the coming year. And may this be a happy time for you and your family.
Christmas in New York. The Northern Rhode Island Council of the Arts is hosting a bus trip to New York City on Saturday, December 16th. We'll get you to New York, and the day is yours. See the sights, visit a museum, see a show, whatever you like. The day is yours. Tickets are $90, and the bus will leave from the St. Anne Arts and Cultural Center parking lot at 5:30 a.m. For more information or to reserve your seats, email nrica@nrica.org or call Sharon at 401-767-7432.
It is Coffee Ann on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan. Melissa Murray's here. Rich Lane from Post 85 has joined us like he normally does on a Friday. And we're also being joined by Jen Stevens, the Vice President of the American Legion Auxiliary Unit number 85. And Jen, what made you finally decide, I should join the auxiliary? Were you a member of the post for a number of years, and then
I wasn't. We moved to Woonsocket 5 years ago. I was born here, but I moved here, and we started to go down there. Found out about the meat raffle. Friends of ours, we went down there, and my husband joined. And I just kept putting it off, but I had a full plate with my son being sick and my mother being sick, and during COVID. And I just kept saying it's just paperwork. I still go down there and help them, whatever. So finally, I just said I just got to do this.
And now you're the VP.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy.
Right to the top.
Well, the funny part about it is that whenever officers' positions come up, nobody wants to run against her because it's like, I don't want to do that. So all the officers, that's why I love these ladies so much, because they put so much on. Jen, you guys put so much time and effort into it, and when people see what they do, and then like I said, the elections come up, it's like, nah, I don't want. No, let them
don't
keep doing
fix
that.
it. If it's not broken, don't fix. Fix it. I
Now,
guess.
Tomorrow, December 16th, on a national level, it's Wreaths Across America.
Yes.
Where a lot of organizations go and lay wreaths at veterans.
Yes.
At veterans cemeteries, and you'll be taking part in this.
Yes, we did.
What will you be doing? Where will you
We
be
purchased
going?
15 wreaths, and we are going to go to St. Mary's Cemetery in Uxbridge because they're doing another auxiliary that come down there and visit. We decided to do that because Westerly last year we were not able to lay wreaths because we went to the ceremony.
Okay.
So we came out, we didn't lay any wreaths. We all went on a bus, and it was a nice day.
Yeah.
Good day. So we decided to do it this way here.
What happened?
some other
What
members.
happened down at last year down in Westerly was that the ceremony was absolutely breathtaking. I mean, it was unbelievable. But there were some people that chose not to go in, and they were laying the wreaths. So by the time the people that were in the ceremony got out, all the wreaths were laid.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, and part of the experience, of course, in laying a wreath is that you'd love to lay. You want to do that.
You lay the wreath and you
So and I think you
reflect.
guys, Jen, made a great decision this year. Purchasing wreaths and just staying local. you know, and that, you know, and hey, they'll have a great ceremony down there in Westerly, and I don't begrudge those people.
Do they have one at Exeter? At that cemetery as well? That's,
that's
That's
Exeter,
it,
the
right.
National.
Exeter,
I'm
yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
Exeter National
Exeter.
Cemetery.
Oh, you mean
there.
Exeter? Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
the National Cemetery down there. But one real quick story on that. They had the Legion Riders were down there last year, and what was it? Group 1 or Group 1, I think is what they're. I could be mistaken with that, but
Who are the Legion Riders?
they are motorcycle people, like,
Okay.
and they go around and they marched in. Of course, they got their leathers on, stuff like that,
Sure.
and their colors, and they march in like with a rifle and with boots, and it was a Trace Atkins song was being sung, and I can't remember the name of the song, but it had to do with Vietnam and the military and things like that. So I got my 2 granddaughters there. They start bawling there, and Judge Jen says there wasn't a dry eye in the house. They start bawling their eyes out,
There must have been 300 people in that tent.
crying like crazy.
Crying.
Is it the song Arlington?
Arlington,
Okay.
yes, sir, Arlington. And so that's playing. The whole place is crying their eyes out. My granddaughters look at me. I start bawling like a baby. The woman in front of us, her husband was part of that procession that came in. She turns around, she sees us, she's bawling her eyes out. So at the end of the entire ceremony, she turns around, she looks at my 2 granddaughters, and she goes to the older one, oh, I'm so sorry for you, honey. Who did you lose? And she goes, we didn't lose anybody. I'm just sad. But that's like,
great.
you've got to experience, you know, even civilians out there. Like I say, we got the Friends of Fairmont. You've got to come down and just see what we do at Post 85. You really have to.
When you take part in Wreaths Across America, you're going up to Uxbridge this time. How do you know which grave site to lay the wreath at? Are you given a plot of these are the veterans to bring it to?
I believe that they'll tell you what section to go to, and they're usually marked. The graves are marked.
Okay.
With whether there's already a flag there, or it'll say it on the headstone. So it's kind of like everyone, we go up there, grab our wreaths, and just start walking. They will have a little ceremony there.
Yep.
And then they're doing something back at the VFW American Legion Post.
All right. If someone wanted to join the auxiliary, what do they do? What's the first step?
Come on down,
Come
ask
down
for
to
an
the post?
application, you'd fill it out, and then you just have to provide information about the person in your life, you know, family member who was a vet or served, and then just give a check that gets mailed in and everything. You get your card.
Do you have like regular meetings? Do you meet like once a week or once
We
a
meet
month?
once a month, usually the second Monday of the month, and it's 6:30. Try to keep them as brief as possible because a lot of people work during the day and it's a long day.
And you just plan out what you're going to do for that month or next
What's
couple
coming
of
up?
months?
Yeah. Get everything ready. When we had our meeting Monday night, we just turned it into a wrapping event, a gift event.
Is there an age limit or a minimum age or anything like that?
Well, you can have juniors. The girls here
Yeah.
are juniors. They're what, 13 and 14 when they started?
I got 13 and 16
13,
in my tour
16.
now. Bailey can't be much more than 9 years old.
Bailey's, I think she's going to be 11.
11?
11
Okay,
this
then.
month,
All right.
this week, I think.
All right, so and I think I'm not sure, but I think it's like you can join as young as 8 or 9 years old for the auxiliary, and then adult I think is 18.
18.
Yep. So you know, the juniors' dues are very minimal. I think it's $10.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, you know, so I mean, and you know, and I can just say from personal experience, like watching my 2 granddaughters, Ava and Lola, and watching Bailey with that group, you see, and it's been expressed to me, you see the confidence that these young ladies have. And like I said earlier, it's just a way to pass on because, hey, at some point, you know, we're going to be gumming our oatmeal, Jen, at some point, right?
I know.
So we're going to need the younger
Young
people
girls.
to take over, you know? And so if you
And
can...
you want them strong and confident.
Right, and if you can instill that in them, and you can show them that this is what you can get done, and that's why you hear me all the time brag the auxiliary down there, because the work that they do it's really great stuff, and they work so hard, and you've got to teach the younger kids how to do this. I mean, it just doesn't automatically happen. You have to, with Nikki and Jen and the rest of the ladies down there, they have to plan, they have to coordinate. There's so much that goes on. You got to fundraise, and you got to know how to fundraise. And there's different ways of doing it, and there's people that got to be extremely aggressive doing it. There's people that got to be passive. You got to have all sorts of ways of doing it, and you guys got to figure it out, Jen.
I think we do. We're on a good roll right
And
now.
I love
for
that you're
sure.
empowering young women. It's hard to be a young
And they're
woman
nice girls.
now, with social media and just being, it's so different. But I love that you're doing that, and that you're, telling them like, hey, you're a part of this group and you have value, and this is what you can accomplish. I love it.
All right, we've run out of time here with the Coffee Am program, so we thank you very much for listening in. We thank Dave Richards for being here earlier. We thank Dan Gendron, who was here earlier. If you missed it, Dan Gendron announced he is formally running for Woonsocket City Council. So keep that in mind when voting comes around next year. Melissa Murray, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Rich Lane, thanks for coming in as always.
Well, thank you very much.
And Jed Stevens from the VP of the American Legion Auxiliary Unit 85. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, this is Joe Callahan. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do you remember at 9:30 here on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. East Bay residents who are pregnant have been told to call an ambulance if they have to rush to a Providence hospital for delivery. And of course, there'll be a cost for all of that. The State Department